welcome to the trip. I am your organizer, and I don't know what I'm organizing, but that's what I go by, at least
You're going
this
for a
week.
different one every week, Gary.
Might as well. Might as well switch it up every so often. So, how you doing, Mr. Tom? Welcome to the show.
I am not bad at all. Bit of a tiring weekend, a long weekend.
That's right. You had a late night last night,
Lot-
right?
Yeah, lots of content was put out. I mean, depend on people's view of whether they like that sort of thing. Then, yeah, good or bad or whatever. I mean, more importantly, I don't really care. I'm just gonna do what I do. But vis-a-vis and all that, yeah.
Cool, cool. And Spencer, how are you doing?
Doing excellent today. I was also hanging out with Tom last night, watching some wrestling, and yeah, if you didn't enjoy it, oh well.
Yeah. We'll say hello to our people and then we'll get into it. All right. So, BX is in the house from the Boogie Down. Carolina's, but welcome to the show. Ian is here. Hello, hello, hello.
What does boogie down mean in the context of you using it for BX?
Because I think BX is, I believe it's because he's from the Bronx, and back in the, on some of the hip hop scene, there was like Boogie Down Bronx was like a phrase I've heard. So I believe that's true. That's where I got it from, anyways.
Would it shock you? Would it surprise you that I'm not in tune with the hip hop culture?
I would not be surprised that you probably have no clue what any of that means.
Yeah, don't worry, I don't either.
See the Boogie Down Bronx. Yeah.
I don't know either.
So yeah, you guys you're a coal miner and you're a wee man in England. Just they don't. That's probably not. They're not probably. That music's probably not for you.
It's from the streets, Gary.
It's from the streets. It's from the streets.
It's from the streets. is from the streets, yo.
Some more wrestling tonight. I don't know. Maybe not on this show, but maybe there's wrestling on. Is there wrestling on after, or whatever?
There's always wrestling every Monday night well, for me 1 a.m. But obviously for you it'd be 8, 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Whatever it is.
All right, so let's get into it. I think Mr. Tom was happy on Saturday morning when we did the road trip because his team played. Friday's probably been a very long time since you've even thought about football and your team playing and all of that. But Arsenal played on Sunday. Was it? It was what time was the game again?
11:30.
11:30. Yes. So
How did it go for Arsenal?
So let's see. So Arsenal playing the top of the table, Liverpool, and Liverpool down a couple of men. Arsenal's down a couple of men as well. So you can't say both teams weren't missing players, but Liverpool had a chance to extend their lead on Arsenal by 8, and a win would keep them at least at arm's length from City. It didn't happen. Arsenal actually came out. They actually had a good game plan, and they won it 3-1. I mean, both teams basically had made poor decisions or had poor play out defensively. Ended up with basically 3 goals being scored. Arsenal had the one goal that was they did all. They built all themselves basically. They didn't need any help from Liverpool to get it, but Arsenal did score all the goals. So there you go. But yeah, Arsenal gets the win. Cuts the lead to 2. Now they're on. Now they're in the fight, is what people have said. So we shall talk about that. Spencer, what do you think about the game? Kyla, I guess give your initial thoughts on the game.
I watched it from a different mode. So Peacock had this game mode, which was like a different camera angle and different commentary.
Can we talk about that in a second? Tell me about the game.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that parlay into that. I was a lot less worried when I was able to see it from that angle, if that makes sense. So I was able to see the whole field. So I was able to see where Zinchenko was, see how much he was inverting, where Kai was at, where Jorginho was at. So outside of the time we scored and then they scored, that once before the Martinelli, I was a little bit more worried about it, but it was actually just the easier way to watch the game, and I actually felt really good about it after watching it. It was was actually a really good tactical masterclass by Arteta. But hey, still in the fight. You know, who knows what happens? But that was a big, reduce that by 2 points to Liverpool. Worry about City when you worry about them, but it was a good game. I was really, really happy, man. It was, Martinelli, Saka, and Jesus. I heard someone say it today, like 3 or 4 of our guys who normally rely on goals just stopped scoring goals all at the same time, and now they're scoring goals again. So that's Martinelli and Saka. So Martinelli just looked amazing yesterday. His speed and pace on the outside, man, like he took a step forward to a certain word I don't like using, but I just watching him, man, his pace is just on another level. So
Cool. Let's say hello to a couple of people who just joined us. Chris Nix joins us pretty early in the show. We haven't got our intros in yet, and he's already joined us. Welcome to the show. Our local Liverpool fan. He said it was BS. That's what it was. I don't know what he means by BS. I don't know what was not given to them that should have been. I mean, some say Arsenal did it to them. Some say they came out and played poor. Whatever. Arsenal's had that happen to us many times, and people said, "No, you have to do better." Well, they needed to do better, right? Liverpool needed to do better.
I think he made a typo.
Oh.
No. He meant to write it was BX. That's what it was.
Oh. All right. Sorry. Good. Yeah. You Brits know how each other talks. So yeah.
Yeah.
But also Brownie joins us. Welcome to the show, Brownie. Miss Melina is in the house. Welcome to Miss Melina. Hello. And Mechanical is here. Yao Sao Melina.
Do you know Lolo for about 3 years called him the Macrononical?
The Mac.
I sat there like,
yeah.
Where are you getting that from, young man?
So, Mr. Tom, I don't know what you saw of the game. If it's just highlights or if it's just through the eyes of Arsenal fans. What your thoughts on the game?
I watched it in the premier way to watch a football match.
Yeah, how's that?
I watched you watch it.
Yes. And how did it seem coming through my eyes?
I'll tell you what, it seemed very it went very well until half time, where you were all ready to go and cut a fucker. Again, pulling from my experiences on the streets, of course.
Your experiences on the street.
Yeah.
The mean streets of...
The mean streets of East London, of course.
East London.
Actually, they are mean streets. Like, you should not walk them alone if you're a tourist.
All right.
But, yeah.
But where do you live now?
East London.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice.
Yeah, but I found basically, like, if you make yourself smell, it'll repel everyone.
Oh, nobody wants to get by you. Yeah, I think I've heard that's a jailhouse trick as well, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, I don't know if that's where you learned it from, but I saw it in a movie.
Well, no, I had this revolutionary concept of buying soap and then using it, which seems to stump a lot of people around here. So anyway,
I hear you.
But to quote, my actual favourite thing said thus far was, it certainly is Brownie, was Spencer with parlay.
What?
Spencer said parlay.
Parlay, okay.
It just amused me. He was going to parlay it.
Yes.
It was the hand signal that went with it. It was sweet.
Yeah.
The parlay. Like I could imagine Blofeld and James Bond going, Mr. Bond, I wish to parlay with you. Anyway, sorry. I'll ruin all your shows.
Can you answer Brownie's question, I guess?
I did. I said, as soon as it came up, I went, yes, it is, Brownie.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it. I didn't put the message up, so it didn't really it meant absolutely nothing to me because I hadn't got to it yet.
I don't care what it means to you.
Yeah.
It's a thing between me and my boy Brownie.
I hear that. Yeah, but outside of, like you said, that last 30 seconds of the half, I think I was enjoying the game. it was a little tense because I assumed at some point Liverpool would kick on and start, maybe put a lot bit more pressure on us in the game. But guess what? It never came. It never came. But you know what? You're still fearful when you're only up one goal, right? Arsenal up one goal. You're fearful that the other team will kick on and get a goal, which they did at the half. And then in the second half, you figure they'd come out, which they did. They came out, ready
In
to
all
go
seriousness,
in that second half. Yeah.
in all seriousness, the reality is that you dominated the first half.
Yep.
And by the nature of football, you fell asleep at the end of stoppage time in the first half. You paid for that because you can't afford to switch off against Liverpool like you did in the first half.
Nope.
And you got punished for it.
Yep.
And then that then brings back all the old insecurities as a football fan, and not unwarranted because it won't be the first time you've conceded a goal in first half stoppage time and then gone on to not win.
Yep.
Right, that's every team. So that sort of floods back. But reality is, and as after I said about Lolo not being able to say his name, as McChronicle says, Liverpool dominated the game for about 10 minutes.
Yep.
But again, that match probably lasted about 100 minutes.
Yeah. No, very true. Very true. That, but like you said, that last 30 seconds in the start of the second half were a little tense. So let's get into it. Spencer. Go on, with the clock running down or extra time coming, can we just see out this half and take a lead, or can we score that second goal? Is what I was thinking. I don't know if I said it, but that's what I was thinking. And Arsenal did the exact opposite. Fell asleep at the wheel there. I think a lot of people I think me and Ryan went at it because he kind of wanted to bring Raya into the picture as to why that goal went in at the end of the half. I personally think Saliba should take all the blame for that one. He was trying to block off a man, didn't do a good job of it, and probably should have just cleared it because there was not much time left. It is extra time, so ball goes out. By the time they get the ball back in, it's probably done. So I want to give all the blame to Saliba. Some want to give, a percentage to Raya. What do you think about that play?
What's odd about it is that's almost like watching what Saliba did and what Van Dijk did is almost like the keeper called for the ball, right? Like if you've played before, anytime you hear like keeper, it's box out and let the keeper get the ball. That's just what the vibe was. But I blame Saliba on that too, because even if the keeper calls for the ball, there was he could see in his field of vision, just crush it, man. Like, and then you can talk to Raya later about, hey man, I didn't feel confident enough you're going to get there in time. That's just the vibe. That's how it looked to me. It looked like the keeper called for the ball. And it's just odd that both of them had happened to him, right? Allison and Raya. So, and probably the two best defenders in the league right now too, Saliba and Van Dijk. It's just really hilarious. I do partially blame Saliba. I'm looking back at it a couple of times, but it just felt like someone called for the ball, just a bad miscommunication at the end, and just use some football intelligence, just kick the ball away, man. But luckily it didn't burn us. I mean, my God, that would have been against Liverpool, like Tom said, you cannot switch off. Man City, Liverpool, the same way. Even playing against Arsenal, it's the same way too. You switch off, we take advantage of it. We become that team as well. But yeah, luckily it didn't bite us. But I mean, just imagine if we had finished 1-1 draw. The scenes. So
yep, we did that. To some degree in the last game when we played Liverpool, right? At their place. I mean, I think it was 1-0 at the time, and kind of put ourselves in a bad situation and paid for it. Not the same situation, not the same scenario, but similar case where if we played a little bit better defense, they probably don't even get that chance. But yeah, Mr. Tom, that last 30 seconds was a little.
Oh, I've just watched it.
Yeah.
Calamitous defending from Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ultimately it doesn't matter because you won, but still, I can see why you were all upset.
Yep.
It was like they were all queuing up to be the reason it went in.
That's funny you say that. Yeah, everybody had a hand in it to say the least.
All your team were basically like, no, I want to be the reason why Liverpool are level.
Okay.
I could
I'll be right
clear
back.
it, but I'm not going to. So you're about to score your third goal.
Oh, third goal. So this is where the bumper music comes in. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Bad at all, was it? Through the goalkeeper's legs.
Yeah, it was. That was. I mean, it's 2 errors on Allison, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Tom, when you watch those, it looks like the keeper's calling for the ball, right? I mean, that's the vibe I get, right? Like, I'm not totally off base on that one, but even the Allison one.
I've wound it back because I want to see the Arsenal second goal again, because it was like my life flashed before my eyes then, because I was like, how did that happen? It's not the first time they've messed up a defensive goal between them, but
yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about the different tactics that Arteta employed yesterday, and I think Jorginho, I'm sure Gary's going to get into it, but Jorginho, I thought was just amazing yesterday, almost running a double pivot in midfield, allowing Odegaard to kind of roam free. Havertz, the stuff he did off the ball, the movement, drawing Liverpool players, out of position. We barely inverted yesterday. Zinchenko was barely inverting. I don't want to steal all the thunder from Gary here, but I mean, what a win. I mean, it's...
What's Alisson doing in this situation?
Yeah.
This is for goal 2, second Arsenal goal. I've had to rewatch it about 4 times now to be like, it's like he's tried to karate kick the ball and then totally missed it.
The difference between the two, it's almost as if you can look at the Raya one as it's almost if a Raya called for the ball, right? Because it's where the incident happened, you almost see that. The Allison one is kind of like he just committed and just kept on committing, and he's not even in the box when he tries to kick it. He's like right at the top.
Raya's not solely at fault though for this, because there's
I agree.
multiple opportunities to get rid of that. Whereas the Alisson one is on him.
Yes.
Because if you come for the ball, you commit to that level, you have to get the ball.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
The Raya one, it's almost as if Raya initially called for it, but that's where I said Saliba has to read the room and say, nah, dude, you thought you had it. But no, I mean, just that why you would even box out like that, it's almost like that keeper, like, hey, I'm going to get this ball, move, keeper, or whatever their code word is. Yeah, you got to read the room. The Allison one, I think, is 10 times worse than the one that Arsenal conceded, but
I think I found out what their keyword is, or their code word. Their code word was obviously scone, because he was calling scone, but they think he was saying scone, which is not a keyword.
No.
Because it's scone, but not scone.
But it's a great pastry anyway.
Yeah. Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah.
But he was saying scone when it's scone.
Yeah. I mean,
so I can perfectly understandable that you'd get confused.
I mean, they're
coming for the ball
they went to the training ground today, getting their rub downs and their down plays, and he's like, "You said scone, right?" So no, I said scone. He goes, "Well, that makes sense. Yeah, that was exactly the Saliba and Raya." And Arteta's like, "Oh," so everybody just
that's
collective...
why Liverpool scored.
Yeah, okay.
They could have had the conversation at half time, but they were all too upset to have it clearly.
Yeah, I mean, they were. It's like you said, they were lining up to see who could help out with assisting that goal there. But
they were like, basically, Gabriel Megalegs was basically like, again, I don't know him personally, but I imagine he was thinking, I can't let Raya make another mistake because they're going to swear at him and all sorts on the Arsenal fan circle and on the Mr. Arsenal podcast, go crucify him. So why don't I punch the ball in with my hand?
They took one for
even if it hadn't gone in, it would have been handball.
Listen, a very selfless act like Gabriel Megalegs. I mean,
of course he is. Of course he is.
Very selfless. I think they should knight him. Is that too far?
It is too far.
All right.
Because not even David Beckham's got that, and he like saved the world. Some would argue. Got a movie made about him.
That's true. Gabriel's career is very, very, very short. He still has time to make a movie made about him. So if we revisit this conversation in about 8 years, Gabriel's going to have an excellent Netflix series. Oh, hey, Gary. Welcome back.
Oh, no. I was referring to Bend It Like Beckham, let alone the Netflix series.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had not necessarily a family emergency. I had just to do something for the family. And I couldn't wait. It couldn't wait.
Didn't even say hello to your mother.
I didn't even got there yet.
We kind of covered the whole Arsenal game while you were gone. So.
I know. But I'll go over it with you again just to be sure. But hey, Mom, welcome to the show.
See everybody saying hey. Your mom as soon as that message came out.
Yeah, since all this playing out from the back nonsense, I've never seen so many defensive and goalkeeping errors. But you know what? The errors that we saw in the Liverpool match, I don't think there weren't any errors that led to goals in terms of playing out from the back.
No, but I agree with Brownie.
No, I know, but I'm just saying in this game where you had two top teams playing, like there was some scenarios that could have ended up causing some problems, but it didn't. Not in this game. It has in the past, but not in this game.
No. To get clear, Brownie's bringing up a specific issue that does not apply to that Arsenal match. Those errors were unforced.
True.
Nothing to do with or nothing to do with the playing out from the back, of course. My issue with playing out the back is that it's been adopted. It's basically another thing that sort of like Pepper's like introduced to football. Let's just say, for argument's sake. Although Bielsa did it as well at Leeds. I think the problem is 90% of the teams that do it ain't good enough to do it.
Yeah, it requires certain skills which I don't believe they even teach, because you need to be able to get the ball out from underneath your feet pretty quickly, because when you go back, the defense is coming at you faster than usually the passes are, and so you get under pressure. Next thing you know, they're on top of you. Whereas probably back in the days, if they were playing out from the back, that player that got the ball was able to control it pretty much better than they can today, and then do something with it quickly because they've already thought about it. Right? You see it in some players, right, where they've received the ball and they already know where they're going next. Right? That's how you're supposed to play certain sports, right? You see it with some of the best players. Like, how did they see that? Well, you know what? They saw it before the pass even was arrived, that guess what? If this pass comes in right now, I know I've got to run it coming off the edge there. Boom, ball gone. And you're like, huh?
But you watched it on Friday. You watched the Leeds-Bristol City match on Friday, or Bristol City Leeds match.
Yeah.
For people that like things specifically correct. I think it's very fair to say that Leeds United pressed Bristol City so far back they almost ended up in 1955.
Yep.
But my overarching point when saying what I'm about to say is basically Bristol City ain't good enough to play out from the back, but they did. And we punished them we should have won that about 8-0, and we didn't. It was a 1-0 thrashing.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. That's being kind.
Yeah, let me say hello to
their own fans will tell you that. True.
Got a couple of comments. Melina, I saw your comment. We'll bring that up about Trossard, McChronicle, Reyes distribution. We'll talk about that as well. Ryan has joined us. Welcome to the show. And saying hello. And if you have not hit the like, hit it. I think we've got we've got 12 people in here. Only one like, and I know that's me. At least on my screen. Maybe it's been
actually, Gary, I can double check this for you.
Maybe it's updated.
Yours won't update. If that's the case.
Hey. Alonzo joins us. Welcome to the show.
There was on my thing. There's 7.
Oh, nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, I forget that it doesn't update when I have it on here. The thing is, there's no target man nowadays. It's pointless. The keeper's going long now. Teams have cornered themselves now by giving in to Pep's version of. Yeah, that's the part that I don't get as well. It's like, how can you look at a team that nobody can build? Nobody can build that team. Nobody. Even Real Madrid doesn't build a team like that.
Everyone always follows the tactics of the most successful manager. be caught because logically, you will if you do what they do, you should succeed. But you ain't got the players they've got, and that's why what they do succeeds.
True.
The mix of the tactics and
that's
the personnel.
That's like saying, you know what? This is the same thing probably happened in basketball, right? Michael Jordan is playing triangle offense is a thing, right? Well, you gotta have one of the best players in the world on that triangle, and then you gotta have some really good shooters, and you have to have
what
a really
happened as soon
and
as
a
Pippen
big
and
big
Michael
man,
Jordan left the triangle?
huh?
How many championships have the Chicago Bulls won since Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen left the triangle?
Exactly. You know what? You have to do what's best for you. You know, that's the thing. In any sport, if you're really good at what you do, it don't matter what everybody else does. It doesn't. It won't. It won't matter what everybody else does. If you're really good at what you do.
I am in no way a basketball expert, but something tells me it was not very surprising that when Phil Jackson went, I'll run the triangle offense with like Kobe Bryant or whoever. It's like, yeah, that'd be good because Kobe Bryant's really good at basketball.
Kobe Bryant's Jordan, 0.75. He's not 100% Jordan, but he's as near as you're gonna get. and then Shaq is like,
and then he takes it over to the I think it was the New York Knicks, I think, and you really don't need to be a basketball expert to be like, not gonna work with the New York Knicks, though, is it?
No. What's Tom on about? He's talking about American sports. See, we got the Brit over here talking about American sports on a British.
I dip my toe in everything. Everything. You have to in my game, baby.
All right, we'll go to this comments before I forget. But I know you guys were talking about the last 30 seconds of the game and of the first half. But we'll jump around. We'll come back to that in a second. But as Melina said, Trossard, and this is something that going into the game when we're talking about lineups, at some point Trossard needs to start. He needs to be part of a rotation so that when he starts in these big games, it doesn't matter because he can start for us. That's where it should be. It shouldn't be he only comes in when somebody's injured, hurt, or whatever. No, he's a legitimate starter for us. Should start games periodically throughout, periodically basically, so that he's fresh and ready to go. And it doesn't matter if there's an injury or not. He's already part of the a rotation that actually works. Spencer, what do you think about Trossard? I think he's a legit. We talk about having a deep squad. He's probably him and Jorginho are the only players I think coming off the bench right now that are legitimate starters for us.
So, question though. So, who would he have started for yesterday?
It doesn't matter. He can put him in anywhere. It doesn't matter where he can play anywhere, right? He can play anywhere in that front line.
The front line you got yesterday was the best line you were going to have.
I didn't say we don't. He's not. I didn't say he's not part of what our best line. I'm saying that he is good enough to start for us, and we can play. We can play for us against any team. He shouldn't be like, I can't play because we're playing Liverpool. That can't. No, he can play against Liverpool. He's actually played better against Liverpool than any of our players have.
I hear you, but some of his best moments have come off the bench for us. But, I mean, right now, Jorginho could start for us. Smith Rowe could start for us. Trossard could start for us. I'm not taking anything away from him. I just think some of his best football for us has been off the bench as an impact player.
Because that's how Arteta's used him. I don't think he's used him well when he's brought him in to start. And I think when he's brought in to start, it's coming in cold. And that's why I say all the time the rotation is key to this thing. Like Jota, I think comes in more than I believe he comes in a lot. He might even be the first person off the bench in most games that they play, in the sense that he comes in late and he comes in, but he always comes in, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I believe Trossard would be for us. Jorginho, older player. I don't think he can come in and play every game. I think we need to give him rest at certain points. Smith Rowe could come in every game, right? We don't have that on the defensive end, like on the back line. We don't have a player like that yet, but we will when we get healthy.
Yes, when Timber comes back. I mean, this is ideally what you wanted anyway, was a bench where you have 4 or 5 guys where you could say that guy could start for us, that guy could start for us. That you don't want the 11 to just pick itself all the time, right? And that's the benefit of having Trossard, Jorginho, Smith Rowe, Havertz, Vieira at times, Jesus, even Eddie at times. But that's the thing. The injuries have really hampered this team for the selection. But Trossard he looked really good when he came on yesterday. I actually was surprised. I would have pulled off Havertz and put Trossard up in the middle. Obviously, it worked out leaving Havertz on there because of what he did defensively to kill the game out. Because Martinelli was just so deadly on that wing, I was like, why would you take that off? But that's part of that rotation, right? You give me 65 minutes, and then go ahead now. You go out there and you throw another killer out there who can kill the game off, and that's what he did.
Yeah. Mr. Tom, talk to me. Trossard, from basically either from what you heard or what you've seen of Trossard.
I thought it was quite a spicy third goal. I thought it was very clever to take the goalkeeper by surprise in that way, because I don't think he expected the ball to be lashed at him in the way that it was. To nutmeg the goalkeeper at near post is always impressive. My actual real fault though was and I'm not going to do the thing that Arsenal fans will tend to do and be like, find the negatives. But my concern is that Martinelli was really good yesterday. Like his goal, like he was there for the goal, forced the goalkeeper, like his presence forced the goalkeeper into doing something stupid. I think it's the fairest way to put it.
Yeah.
But my fear for you is that he will then disappear for the next 5 games, when what he should do is actually play even better the next time, make himself indispensable.
Very true.
I don't feel like I've sat here a lot of Monday nights going, Martinelli was really good this weekend. But he was this weekend.
Yep.
And that's the one that actually matters right now.
True. I
can point these things out because I don't care about your team.
True. No, I was just gonna say that we'll see if this is. I don't know what Arteta's doing, but if he's playing mind games, this might be what he's trying to do. He might actually be trying to piss off Martinelli to some degree, because when he gets pissed off for playing time, he seems to come back even more energetic and a little bit more hungrier. For whatever reason, even if it's not even Arteta's fault, maybe he's injured. But I feel like he needs to find ways to get his players to be hungry when they come on the pitch. Like we used to see that from Reece Nelson. I think he's killed that out of Reece Nelson now. He doesn't play much, so whenever he does come on, that doesn't even seem like the same hungry player we saw in that West Ham game in the EFL Cup. Right? He looked really hungry in that one, but we haven't really seen him since. And I feel like you have to keep these players engaged and hungry and ready to play. And you see it with Martinelli. He responds. I believe Saka would respond if he was given the same treatment. Most players do respond when they don't get what they want and they fully deserve it. Some coaches find a way to get that out of them.
I can tell you why I think Saka's off the boil, right? In my opinion, he's gone off the boil, and it's obviously tiredness because he's always playing. Like, that goes without saying. But I also think it's the part where he's played himself into a situation where he's indispensable to Arteta. But then because of that, it's going to be very hard to replace him in the context of who's going to want to go to Arsenal to be back up to Saka when you're not going to play. And, I mean, every team sort of has that problem with someone. It's like what striker wants to go to Leicester in the last 10 years knowing that they only play if Jamie Vardy's injured?
True.
Not now. That's different now because he's aged out a bit. But
I just feel like no player plays every game. So like the thought that I can't go play here because this player's going to play every game, I think is a stretch, because they don't, and they don't play well when they play every game. There's too many games right now. We're complaining about it early in the season, right? People were complaining about too much football, no breaks in the summer. Players are wearing down, and we saw that, right? All these players wearing down. They don't, and they want to add even more games to their schedule and stuff like that. So I feel like you should be able to bring in a player equal talent, maybe, but somebody who wants to fight for position. Yeah, I mean, I think you want that, and you see it. I mean, I think you have to find a way to keep people engaged, and that's what I mean by rotation. If you don't rotate, then yeah, it looks really hard. It looks really easy to look at Arsenal and go, well, Arteta's never going to bring anybody in, but Arteta needs to. He needs to bring somebody in for Saka. Saka gave us all those goals last season, not really taking a break at all. And we had a lot of games where you're like, you probably shouldn't be playing, right? And if that was, for example, if that was Jesus taking his spot, maybe you see, the goal contributions even go up more because when they do come back, they're refreshed and ready to go, as opposed to you getting dead football from them. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but I kind of feel like that's a coaching thing that Arteta is not hasn't done well, and that's how he needs to sell his team. He needs more players. He can't get back more players, and then they look at the squad and go, "I don't think there's a place for me." Well, no, there has to be. Nobody plays with 11 players, so nobody. Top teams in the world, none of them go, "Well, I just have a starting 11. I don't have anybody else." They sell you something. They have to sell you something. That's what I think. I don't know, Spencer. I don't know what you think about that. I just feel like that's on Arteta and how he sells his program to those prospects that he wants to come join his team.
I mean, Tom's right about Saka. Like, nobody wants to sit behind him. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can talk about competitors all you want, but you got to sell that to him. So you got to do one of two things. You either A, got to hope that guy wants to compete, or B, you got to pay more for him to come and sit and be a backup. And somebody like Kudus, for example, wasn't going to come and be a backup at Arsenal. He just wasn't going to do it.
What's he doing now? He's coming off the bench now. So you say that where is he now? He's actually come off the bench for West Ham.
Maybe
he doesn't start every game. Well, he comes here to us. He'll get the because he does have good minutes. He does have good showings. So I hear what you're saying, but I think it's the way you sell it, right?
Right. And again, this also comes down to what happens in the next transfer window too, right? Like, so we don't know what's going to happen.
It's always the next one. We got players right now that deserve to play. It can't be the next one. It's got to be like right now. We have
so who would you rotate with
players that should. Well, you have a couple of right now. It sounds like if Havertz is going to can play up the top, then maybe you put Jesus out on the right. All right, Trossard can play anywhere on the front line. Right, if you really if you're in a bind, you put Trossard there. Right, you have at least that's two players right now that can play there. Not a big drop off, right? Or maybe there's a big drop off with Reece Nelson, but not a big drop off with Jesus. Right.
Well, that becomes my controversial statement of the night. Some of Havertz's best games have been up top at the 9 position for us, and maybe it is time to have that conversation, and maybe they're having it internally. I don't know. Jesus, we need to potentially rotate him and Saka on the wing. But the problem now is Jesus again was unavailable Sunday because of a recurring.
Yeah, so it's that's why I'm saying it has to be part of for this thing to work. These players have to be coming in and out of the lineup.
Well, this is the thing about Havertz, and I was thinking about this today. He's always been available. Every single day he's available. He hasn't been injured a single time. Yeah. That's the most precious asset right now. Is your availability to this team. You can't win this title without people being available. So we can say, he's not the ideal number 8, but if we didn't have him right now and Xhaka had gone off, Vieira's been hurt, Smith Rowe was hurt, Trossard could potentially play the 8, but he's a guy that's found himself to be very valuable to what Arteta wants to do. I would be interested in seeing Jesus on the wing, as a rotational guy with Bukayo Saka. I'm absolutely 100% in favor of that. And actually, I think that's what he would probably thrive the most at is a guy playing out on the wing. I think he probably, I think BX said something about Saka's pace and is he truly a winger? I mean, that's possible. But, what about moving Bukayo to somewhere in the midfield? Just moving things around and making some changes and trying some different things, some different looks. That regenerates players as well. So,
Mr. Tom, I guess get your thoughts on that.
No, I think as usual, Mr. Spencer was doing some astute analysis on the situation. don't really know that much about Kai Havertz apart from he scored a Champions League final goal.
Yeah.
And he scored a goal for Arsenal in the last minute, to which Arsenal fans then just sat on their hands. And I was like, Anyway. Sorry. I say that I have no dog in that fight. I'm just.
Well, no, just asking for your opinion. So that's all I am looking for. Your opinion, whether or
I'm
not
filibustering because I don't know what I'm being asked.
Look,
let me say hello to people in the chat because before we go.
Thank God.
Moss has joined us. Welcome to the show. Moss says we were like, take poor Saka off getting hit and leave Martinelli on as he was killing them. Tross, great goal. Yeah, no, that's the thing that Arteta I don't get. Right? I don't get. You have players that can play that position, and Martinelli's having a good day. Yes, the only thing I can think of is a mental thing, or Arteta just doesn't want to put Nelson in early. Like Nketiah, oh my gosh. Saka was on the floor twice in that game. Third time he finally hits the ground again, he's out. Like, Arteta, what are you doing? You're still doing the same silly things, pushing your players past where they don't need to be. You've got players that can come on and answer the call. Use them. Stefan has joined us. Welcome to the show, Stefan. But yeah, like I said, I kind of feel like we don't use Trossard enough, and we have answers to push Saka to the bench and give him a little bit of make him part of a rotation. Yeah, we have that now. We should use it. And as you said, you can put Saka into midfield. I think Saka should be in certain games. Maybe he needs to go play. He's played right back, left back before. Played solidly there. I think you talked about Havertz being available and playing all the time, but Saka was available all the time, and until we found the right position for him, it was pain. It was pain, and that's what Havertz has given us, pain. When he plays in midfield, it's pain, and we're like, this doesn't work. It's not working when he plays in midfield. It takes away from his potential for the team, right? So I kind of felt like, you know what, certain players should just play. Certain players can only play where they're best suited to. Other players you can move around. I think you move Rice around, you don't see a dip. I think if we moved Saka around, I don't know now because he's been so like ingrained into that right wing position, but you see it with some of the other teams. They will move their best players around because they have to. So inverting left back role, Jesus on the right wing. I think we have answers. It's all up to Arteta. Arsenal Misfit joins us. Welcome to the show. Even Saka left center. Like I was saying, I think we have answers. I think now we have answers, and we can, put some of your better players anywhere on the pitch. Yeah. And Arteta, I hope, doesn't look at Havertz like a James Milner. Actually, he cannot. He isn't, because he's not doing that for us. Right now, I think the only player that does that for us and is really good at it is Rice. We know he probably can play center back and play that 6, and if we needed to, play the 8, right? Otherwise, who else? Who else on the team? Like Trossard, anywhere in the front line. I think he gets hurt a little bit. We lose the talent when we move in the midfield. Jesus should get to play on the right or the left, wherever he's suited. I don't know. I think we have certain players that can move around to help with the rotation. We don't do it enough. Yeah, I mean, Jordan Henderson is a player that would play anywhere for Liverpool back in the days, right? They needed a fullback. He played it. Needed midfield. They played him. So, they didn't see a big dip.
Yeah, I think Rice, again, I know we've said this before, but I think Rice is brought in to be the 8, and Partey was going to be the 6, the rotation of Jorginho.
Yeah, I think that is a big risk, a very, very, very big risk.
To what?
I've got a question.
Play Rice at the 8?
No, that Partey is even part of your plans.
I mean, Yeah. I didn't say it was
Gary.
a great plan.
Yes, sir.
Gary. I'm just saying that's what I see.
Gary.
Yes, sir.
Spencer. I got a question.
Yeah. What is it?
Do you think that Reece Nelson is very pleased that Eddie Nketiah exists? Because he seems to take all the heat, and Reece Nelson just sits there and collects his $100,000 a week or whatever, and no one ever gives him shit, despite the fact that he has even less output than Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, and I'm pissed off that I don't even get I'd rather have him out there so that I know. I don't even know if he would be good for this team because I never see enough minutes from him. Like when Emil Smith-Rowe is out for whatever a month or two, and he still has more minutes than Reece Nelson, then I'm like, why in the world did we re-sign this player? Why did we extend a contract to him? Emil Smith-Rowe's injured, can't play, still has more minutes than Reece Nelson. That makes no sense, right? You went out and extended a contract to him last year. The man came in for Saka early in the game, scored a brace, gets no minutes after that, basically. What does he have to do? Comes out hungry early in the season. Now he can't get him on the pitch now unless it's unless it's an injury.
I'm sure someone is going to turn around and say, "Oh yeah, but he scored in the 94th, the 90 plus 14th minute against Bournemouth," and I'll be sitting there. My other spots that'd be, yeah, but which Arsenal player hasn't scored a winner in Arteta time?
In Arteta time, yeah, you got this whole thing set up. Arteta time, yeah. No, like I said, I that's Arteta. I want to see the player play. He was supposed to be as good as your Saka's back in the days when he was in the academy. My understanding was he's one of the better academy players back when he was that young. All right, there was a lot of promise there. We don't even get to see it.
I think they should change the rules of football slightly to really truly test the squad. Actually put a limit, you can have 30 players on a team in a match. So you have 60 motherfuckers running around the grass. And then all your squads out there. And if a player goes down, then tough shit. It'll be 29 against 30 or something like that.
That just sounds like a
Just
lot of
think about
nonsense.
it.
I think that's.
Fantastic
I don't want to
idea.
think about it. It sounds like nonsense.
It's the
He's got
best
the
idea.
Royal Rumble on his mind, or the Battle Royale, or
I know,
whatever.
this
It is
guy-
Royal Rumble season, yeah. But I think it'd be a fantastic idea. I mean, obviously, you'd need to some infrastructure changes because obviously you need to accommodate the 5 times the amount of players.
Just play on a cricket field. Why not? Just do it at Lord's. There we go.
You know what? Don't even have goals. Don't even bother putting goals up. Just.
I know you wanted to do filler, but you went there and really just made up some nonsense to talk about. I'm gonna answer this comment here anyway.
Here at the rules of basketball
from Steven saying, Brownie, the problem with having one player covering more than one position is that it goes down, it weakens the team in multiple positions, not just one. You are correct, and that's what happened to Arsenal. All right, that's what has happened to Arsenal. You've got Ben White. Oh, he's the backup for the center back. Well, when the center back goes down and you don't have a right back to cover Ben White, what do you do?
That's on the players, though. The players got to stay healthy, man.
No. Injuries happen, so that's not true.
To this extent,
you can't blame the players for your not having depth. That you can't do.
You can blame the players for not being tough enough.
Yes, but you can't blame the players for not having depth.
Like if Jesus' knee is acting up again, what is it? Inflammation? Take an ibuprofen, bro. Is Michael Jordan missing the game against Liverpool?
You're talking the athletes of today are not the same as athletes of yesterday.
I know I'm wrong on that, but Holly, I'm not PG.
And they flop all the time.
Yeah, I'm not PG. But no, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like Thomas Partey's thigh. What's wrong with it, man? Like if you got after a while, it's just I don't know.
Well, like I said, I believe that if he still played at Atletico Madrid, he'd be playing the same amount of minutes he probably was always playing. At Arsenal, they treat the players a little bit differently, I believe. That's what I believe. And no way, and I go back to it all the time, no way is Partey walking off the pitch in a North London derby because he pulled a hammy. No way. No way. He would never do that at Atletico Madrid. No way. Anybody see that happening at that team? No. No. Well, not happening. Yeah. I did not hear.
I didn't hear it
Mr.
either.
I didn't hear Mrs. Spencer say what she said, but
it's funny, but I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it because it was. I guess I could hear myself speaking, so I didn't.
You guys both looked down and laughed. It's okay. I apologize.
No, I read the message, so that's why I knew that.
No, it was. I heard the noise, so I know. In hindsight, obviously, I know it was said, but I did hear it when it was said.
Yeah. There's another comment here from McConicle talking about Raya because the goalkeepers had a lot to say, to play in this game. Now Raya's distribution is why he was brought here, right? Right. He was brought here because of his distribution, and we see it. We've been seeing it a lot now, consistently now. It seems throughout a game, you'll see him make a play, either with his feet or he's slinging it out there. A player on the run, and then we on an attack. I think that's the thing I don't get. When we do stuff like that, I'm like, yay. But if we just intercept the ball midfield, we don't treat it the same way. Right? We've got the defense on their heels, attack them, right? What's the difference? It's the same situation. You have the defense on their heels, you go at them. Everybody should be attacking because that's what we do. That's what you're doing. No, we intercept the ball. Wait a second, going to go back to the our center backs and back line to start the attack. It's like, hello, no. So no, I like Ray. Ray has been doing well. I mean, the fact that our defense is making it easy for him, I don't mind that. He's going to have to make some plays. We'll see if that happens in the games where he did make saves in this game. All right, so
his distribution in the last two games has been really good. I mean, I know we're probably highlighting and biased based on the goals we've seen, but it does feel like he's gotten a little bit. I don't know the word. I see where Moss is saying is command in the box. That's two different things. Distribution and command in the box is two different things, obviously. Because, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I think he's been good. I think he's been good ever since we come back from break. I know probably should have had 3 clean sheets in a row, right? If we want to be honest, if we want to nitpick about last week in Nottingham Forest. So back lines kind of let him down, maybe you could say, the last couple of games. And
you know what? Was he pissed? No.
I think so.
Was he pissed? No. Not enough to where I saw a video of him screaming at Saliba.
I mean,
Was he pissed?
We saw Gabriel.
Was he pissed? Was he pissed off in the Nottingham Forest game when
probably
similar thing happened?
I saw him punch. I saw him throw his fist. I mean,
okay.
You gotta think though. Ryan and Ramsdale are two different emotional people too, right? I mean, Ramsdale wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, but you know what? As a goalkeeper, if you fail in front of me, I'm gonna I should be letting you know. And then also in the back of my mind, I should be going, if this guy does this again, I'm going to have to go out there and collect this ball before he even makes a mistake in front of me, right? Like if like once in a while, Saliba's going to try to shield the defender and not just clear the ball, you're just going to come out a little bit sooner than you usually would, right? That scenario happens again. You're like, well, I'm just going to come out and clear this ball because guess what? He's trying to ward off a player with a lot of traffic going on in front of me. The only thing I can do is attack the ball. So, yeah. So Ray is allowed to play the ball upfield, and Ramsdale was benched for it. I think the distribution is the accuracy of the distribution is the reason why Ramsdale a lot of times was kicking that ball out. I mean, Ray does it as well, but I think we're seeing a little bit more, a little better play, from him, I believe. I don't know. Mr. Tom, what are you laughing at?
Why not Spurs is back?
Oh, he joined us? Oh, look
I
at
love that guy.
Why not is in the house. I'll get to your comment in a second. Why not? What's it say here? I think Arsenal Misfit that we will be seeing a lot more loans with a purpose to buy for the following season, as then it puts the transfer fee for that player into the next financial year. Well, I think nothing happening in January should open things up also, because monies that would have been spent has not been spent, right? I think everybody would have wanted at least one player to come in, and we saw none in a lot of situations. Why Not has joined us, as you said. Welcome to the show. He is still Arteta out, Edu out. They just beat Liverpool, and he's still Arteta out, Edu out.
In other news, Gary, water is wet.
Some people have doubled down on the Arteta out, and they're just going to stick the course, no matter if the Titanic sinks.
Yeah.
Have you heard of an NBA player called Bam Adebayo?
Yes, he plays for my Heat team. Yeah. Oh, he used to play for my Heat team.
Because I noticed during the All-Star game, he was wearing. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
He probably liked the way it looked. He probably doesn't really like them.
Yeah. Oh, he plays for the Heat.
It's a fantastic hat.
No, I see. Yeah. I'm Arsenal in, and everybody says, oh, that's a sellout. But you know what? What's good for Arsenal is good for me. Yeah. I didn't curse on YouTube today.
This is my missus.
No, he's saying one day you will.
Oh.
All I will say is, without revealing too much behind the curtain, Gary is in no way adverse to poor language.
Yeah. I guess my YouTube persona is different than like my it's like some people don't drink on the screen, but they are drunken off it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So,
I have no such rules.
I hear that. Nah, 2 points off the top. That's what you want. Yeah, I guess you're right about that, Brownie. We basically did buy Raya, but the monies doesn't come out until the summer. Yeah, it's a summer sale. Like I think there's I don't know if there's certain things that had to happen that made it signed, sealed, and delivered. Yeah. See Bieber's crazy All-Star jacket. I did not see Bieber's crazy jacket of the All-Star thing. Bieber. Yeah, so he's still around.
Pure Bieber, baby.
Belieber.
Yeah.
Some people are Swifties. I'm just a believer.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Because in the last 2 games, we've seen poor play from a man in the middle or in the back middle, Saliba. Could Saliba, like Saka, be tired? I mean, he's had 2 similar scenarios where you expect him one-on-one to be able to beat the man he's defending to the ball and clear it away. We've seen him basically, knock over Haaland coming through the middle of a pitch. So we know he's strong enough to hold up against players, but we've seen it twice in 2 games. A player.
I think he's seen what Tony says about him on YouTube.
Tony? Which Tony?
What other Tony is there?
There's like lots of Tonys.
Tony. No. Not in our universe. There's only one Tony.
Tom, I have a question.
Yeah. You know what? Tony might push me to cursing because that guy. Yeah. No, but what do you think about that? I you know what? We talked about this earlier, in this season. We have no good depth behind our center backs. Not like Trossard, not like Jorginho, and kind of not like, until he gets healthy, Emile Sufro. And if you think about it, Tomiyasu wasn't at some point. He was coming off the bench, and he was a decent fullback for us. But center back, we don't have somebody at that level. Kiwior is still figuring things out, and he's been forced to play left back multiple times. Could Saliba be tired mentally, physically? Yeah,
He could well be. I mean, I've not spoken to him personally because he won't take my calls, but
and you don't have his number.
I have a number.
Okay, not
That
his
could
number.
be his. Yeah. That's semantics, really, but I could contact him, I suppose. I did manage to contact Patrick Bamford.
How?
Riveting.
Well, it's funny you say that.
I should have
the first thing,
why?
He had 2 questions for me. He went, "Who are you?" and "How did you get into my shower?"
Okay, yeah, yeah, I can understand why. Yeah, that didn't go over so well.
Yeah, but I think he was more upset that I was using it.
Sure. Oh, I thought you were in there with him, like saving water or something.
That's not PG at all, Gary.
I didn't lead Gary to that at all either. Like, that was just off his own back. Filth.
But Spencer, talk to me. I don't know, you were nodding your head, or you had a lot of things going on at your house.
Yeah, I'm talking about breaking and entering.
No, it's a mixture of all the above, naturally. But I don't think Saliba needs a break. I think he's fine. I mean,
he's been muscled off balls by one, physical, striker, and now
he's not Superman. He can't win every duel. He's really good. I trust him a lot. I mean, he's the first name on the team sheet, in my opinion. Him and Declan Rice, those two. I think he's a world-class defender. I don't know if people probably can disagree with me. That's fine. I'm more worried about Gabriel at this point more than I am Saliba.
You're worried about Gabriel. What did Gabriel do?
I mean, he put his hand and smacked the hand, the ball into the goal with his hand.
He what?
He handballed it into the goal, Gary.
You know what? You need to stop. You want me to curse, don't you?
Well, you saw it, didn't you? He thought he could high five the ball.
So I got Ryan telling me Raya had something to do with it. Now you're telling me Gabriel. No, you're kidding, right? You're really kidding, right?
Well, when you went off camera, me and Tom, we had this discussion about it, and Tom basically said that all the Arsenal players lined up to be the one to put it in the back of the net for him. So the way Tom sees it, it looked like everybody and their mom was like, "Well, let's just
protecting him."
Yeah, take our cleats off and just play without cleats today. I think we have some depth back there. The question is it you're never going to find someone the quality of Saliba, though.
Stop with this trying to find the duplicate for everybody.
I mean, you can
no team is winning with just their first 11. So you got to stop that comment. No, let's talk legitimately. Let's talk intelligently about this. Let's talk football wise. Like you look at it. KDB has been out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Best player for City. Some say best player in the Premier League. He's been out until just recently. Did they miss him?
I would say to an extent, yes.
Of course I did.
Did they suffer for it? Are they out of Champions League? Are they out of the league?
But they're not where they normally would be at this time.
They're never where they used to be. This is where they used to be. This is exactly where they've been in the past.
This is the part of the season where they usually go 18 wins in a row. They usually take a defeat in November, like a City one. They'll lose at Brentford or something like that, and then they go 20 games without even drawing. Like they'll win all 20, and then by the time they do lose a game, they're usually 10 points clear. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, it actually was quite key in the sense that everyone saw what happened. They lost Rodri for 3 games and they lost to Nottingham Forest, for example. Did they lose to Nottingham Forest or did I invent that in my head?
They dropped points, I think, in all 3 of those games Rodri wasn't there. Yeah. Rodri's more key than KDB is.
Yep.
Drastically. A lot of their losses have come when he's not on the field.
Yeah. No, we beat them when Rodri wasn't there. So I thought I answered your question. Did I not bring it up?
I starred it.
Okay.
It's in the starred section. I found it.
Oh, yes. We will bring it up next.
Oh, but I say Ben White can play center back. Tommy Else can play center back. Timber can play center back.
Very true.
I think
you know what? I hear you, but why are they rotating?
I think Timber's the one that would have been the bigger rotation guy, Gary, in my opinion.
Okay, here's the thing. I think you might be right, but not for center back. I think if Timber was starting and he had Zinchenko and you had Ben White, then Tomiyasu could rotate in that center back role, not Timber, because Timber, I believe, is more of a fullback than a center back. Is my understanding.
I thought he played more games at center back for Ajax last year. Ajax. Sorry.
I thought he came to Florida. Came to Florida.
Ajax,
I don't know why you have Florida in my mind, but I thought he came to Arsenal as a right back, and we had to force him to the left because Zinchenko was injured.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that one.
So I hear what you're saying. Like the good thing is he can play anywhere. Tomiyasu can play anywhere. Ben White can play anywhere. But what I'm saying is we haven't been able to rotate even now, right? We still can't rotate because we don't have too many injuries still. Declan Rice can rotate, but we have injuries, so we can't really rotate him and put him on the back line. He'll rotate to an 8, but he'll probably never rotate to a back line right now.
Well, that's the dumb thing about it. If Partey was available, you could play Rice as center back. But obviously, if you're gonna play Rice as a center back, like things have fallen apart with Gabriel and Saliba.
It's called rotation. This is why I keep telling you. It's not. Players cannot play every game straight. You see them come in and out of the lineup, right? So that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's, well, you know what? No, I don't want to start my best 11. It's like your best 11 sometimes isn't your best players because they're either out of form or they need to be rotated in and out of the lineup.
But are you going to wait until Declan Rice start on the center back position?
See it all the time. We've seen KDB late in the season for some reason not be in the lineup. You learn to play without your best players because guess what? They're not guaranteed to always be there.
But one team has the luxury to be able to do that, and that's Man City.
Every team does it. We've played so many teams without their top players, and we've struggled against them. So every team has done it. I watched it too many times for it to be like, an anomaly. No, every team does it, and I've seen it against us. We've played teams without who knows how many players. It's made no difference. Either you're saying we've been bad and we let teams play their style, or they actually have a legitimate plan when their players are out. It can't be every time, because every time it seems we're not playing the top players. Like the last time we played West Ham, I don't think they were playing with certain players. It didn't matter. All right.
I mean, that was a game where we decided to just not kick the ball in the back of the net too. That's on us.
Yeah.
That's 100% on us.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from them, but you have 82 touches? I think it was a Premier League record. And you don't put a single one in the back of the.
Yeah, 70 touches in the box and
nobody
30
plans
shots.
for that.
No goal.
Plan for it. It's just It's just weird.
That's one of those where you take it on the second opportunity as opposed to the first opportunity, right? When you think about it, then you think long, you think wrong is kind of the saying in poker. I think in football sometimes if you don't take that first attempt, you try to take the second one, it gets blocked. And I think half of those shots were blocked in that game. But here's a question from Steven from Canada. Question: would FFP have him bite now? Will teams be willing to pay those ridiculous prices, or will we see the prices start to drop? I see them dropping by 20% as teams will struggle to be legal.
I see him dropping by 21%.
Okay. That's all you got? That's all you got? Before Sensor says, can I get anything else out of Mr. Tom before?
I think that's an interesting discussion.
Price is right theory. Always go $1 more.
Yeah, hit it,
So
Spencer.
this is interesting because I think yeah, I could see this. Here's where it's going to be. So you're going to have the selling clubs. I'm going to say the lower echelon of the Premier League. You know, maybe an Elise they want to sell, and they're going to value him at X. Well, everybody's going to be like, we're willing to pay. I don't know. Let's just look for example, 50 million, and everybody's like, well, he's not worth 30, and they're going to sit there and they're going to have to. Crystal Palace is going to have to decide. You know, based on where this guy is in his actual, and even Tony's a prime example of this. They've seen people go for a certain amount of money. They're going to try to get what they can get out of this. So we may see a summer transfer window where the deals happen closer to late July, early August. We may not see quick business done in June. I could be completely wrong on this, but the money is funny in football, the profitable and sustainability, right? I've read about it a couple times. I think I've got a little bit of a good grasp on it. But just because you have millions of dollars in your bank account in Lords or wherever the money's being held at doesn't mean you can just go drop it on whoever you want. Because if that was the case, the Man City they wouldn't even be in investigation right now. They would just be dropping whatever funny money they could wherever they wanted, which they kind of have. But yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that summer window goes. I could see Reece Nelson getting sold potentially in the summer. Ramsdale, Partey probably 3 or 4 players are going to go out, but it's going to be fascinating to see if the prices do go down, right? I mean, I think Tom has brought this up, or maybe it was Sam. The United Kingdom is about to go through a massive recession. I mean, are people going to have the money?
Wouldn't have been me.
Oh, maybe it was Sam. I'm sorry.
I'm almost certain it was.
Okay, fair enough.
Far too intelligent for my. I won't take credit for saying that was actually clever for someone else.
But I wonder if that leaks over to football, right? If times are tough for the people in England, will the clubs operate in a different manner as well? I don't know. So, but we've seen things inflate. I think I saw, maybe it was on Del Boy's stream. He brought up a 1991 transfer sheet and the prices that players went for in like 1991, 1992, even in today's money, was only like twice of what they were. You know, so it was like $7 million, I think, for Zidane, or 3.5. That's no more than $9 million now, based on the time value of money over from 1991 to 2024. We've gotten to now where players are valued at 40, 50 million, and it's just insane. Does that turn into, we're like, well, hey, the answer is, instead of going out and buying this guy in the market, do we trust our academy system more? Certain clubs are going to do that. You know, will Arsenal, City, United, Liverpool do that? I don't know. What's Liverpool going to look like without Klopp there? Is it going to be as an attractive job as it was playing for Jurgen Klopp, right? It's going to be a fascinating summer for that aspect, to see who's going to go where, what the money is going to look like in football going forward.
I hear you. No, it's an interesting thought, and will that happen that fast? That's the thing I don't know. You know, will it be will it be a dead summer just because of that? You know what I mean? Like, will it be last summer was, I don't know how much was spent last summer, but will it be like where it's like 50% this summer coming up, just because either teams will just go and get the one player as opposed to getting the 3 players that they wanted? You know what I mean? So I mean, Arsenal needs a striker. If they get a striker, and it's awesome, and that's probably all they're going to get. You know what I mean? Because they're not going to do another 100 mil deal and then another 64 plus 30 deal in players in the summer. No, I'm just saying, you're not going to spend like there's, and he's not. Is he worth 100, 130 or whatever it is? I don't think he's worth 130, and that's why I'm saying, either go out there and you get the best player and it costs you tons of money, or you get multiple players and you can rotate them in and you get something different from all of them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where Arteta's gone wrong. He's tried to get versatile players, but never get, and then have like a quarter of his squad that he doesn't even use. All right.
I mean, that's why I'm going to probably get discontent for this one, but I could see a world where Sambi Lokonga comes back and plays into this team next year. I could see it.
But he needed minutes. He wasn't going to get it at Arsenal.
Correct.
That's the thing. That's the thing. He needed minutes. He
Mhm.
was like it was true. It was true to see as soon as he got into the squad. Look, this whatever you thought this player was going to be, it's not going to happen. He needs to go away and play football and get like starts, right?
Yep.
And things that you thought you saw, and like the fact that he's getting starts in the Premier League is even better,
Mhm.
right? Because you're playing against him in some games. You're seeing him play on a regular, and he looks more comfortable out there than he did for Arsenal. Because when it came into Arsenal, it was for it was for a game that we needed him to perform, and
Yeah.
he never got enough. That's where like the whole rotation thing comes in. If you don't rotate these young players in, guess what? You're just gonna throw them to the lions basically, and then
Well, that's
ask
the
them to
thing.
perform.
You're bringing up a good point, Gary, because like if you're bringing in young players, you have to be willing to embrace the growing pains of that young player too. If you're gonna build young, then you got to understand you're gonna take some losses, you're gonna take some lumps. There's gonna be learning curves. People say, "Well, Arsenal's not the club to learn at." Maybe, and maybe that's accurate. But I mean, I mean, I was thinking about what the Arsenal misfit comment here. I think that's Ryan. An unproven Mudrick for 90 million. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one that, I mean, that was just a YouTube sensation.
True.
No disrespect to Mudrick or anything, but he's not a 90 million pound player.
Yeah, and you
It's
know
funny
what?
how much you all wanted him, though.
Well, if they
No,
because
you're
the
right.
team wanted him. We thought
Yeah.
they knew what they were doing. Obviously, they got lucky. They didn't get him, and ended up with Trossard. They ended up with
That would have crippled
Jorginho,
us.
right? Think
We
about
would have
think
never,
about think about
never
think
been
about
right.
You
that.
would have Declan Rice if you bought him.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have had Declan Rice now because we would have had Casado and probably first, right? And that would have we were like I like Casado was for me all about the potential. Whereas Rice was a known commodity, right? You didn't
Right.
have to worry about what you're going to get from him. The
Yeah,
leadership
but
could not be touched, and if you're going to let Xhaka go, you needed to bring in some leadership. He does that.
Yeah. Checks the boxes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy to think, and I think that's the kind of transfer that broke football. I mean, look at Chelsea; they're in 11th place in the league. Enzo was 105 million. Casado was, I think, triple digits or six numbers.
Close to
They
that.
bought. Sorry to
No,
get.
you're good.
Moving on this. They bought, because I know what you're about to say. They bought a player for over 100 million that Benfica had paid about 10% of that for 5 months earlier.
Yeah, they created what they call a false economy. But like those teams will take that money and hopefully they'd save it because it's not going to come as things move along because one Chelsea's of the world Chelsea won't be what it is in the next year or two. If like this summer, they should not even be anywhere close to thinking about buying players worth 100 mil for 8 years.
This transfer market is Chelsea's fault, and it's been Chelsea's fault since 2003. It's not Chelsea's fault now, where it is, but not just now.
You know what? That's where that whole FFP thing comes in because if you're really and truly looking at the team's books, then you knew that Chelsea had so many loans outstanding against the club, which is what you don't want. That's why you had it in the first place, right? That's what that's all about, right? Teams should not put themselves in debt and they go out of business because they can't afford the players. And they did exactly that. The league, whatever loophole they found, let it happen. And then when they did go to sell, they had to the man just said, I'll write it off. Right? He was fine with it, but not everybody's going to do that. And that's why I'm like, they should have never been in that situation in the first place because the rules are supposed to be there for a reason.
Enzo benefited from that World Cup. He showed off at that World Cup, and they were like, "Oh, we got to buy him."
So a lot of players benefited from a World Cup, and we never heard from them before that,
But think how critical that was, Gary and Tom. Like, you had a World Cup in the middle of the season. Players were showcased. And an international game is drastically different than the domestic game. And I'm not saying Enzo's a bad player, but he's nowhere near 100 million. But again,
because who is it that is it Morocco? They one of their center mid. also, right? Everybody said, "Oh, he played much better than Rice in that Europa League final, or whatever." West Ham still won, but he played better than them. We don't. He's in the league. He's in the league. You barely hear his name. He's been injured or whatnot, so it hasn't worked out. All right, I think it's United, right? So, yeah. No, I've been reading some of the Why Not's comments. They do end with Arteta out, but I mean, I think some of them have been good discussion points, right? Right. I mean, for example, yeah, Ben White, not really a center back. I think he's good as a right back because there's no danger behind him. He's playing as a right back.
I think he can play midfield too.
Yeah, yeah. So the further away from the goal he is, the better he is for us, for sure. And this comment here: keep the football simple. Players can follow instructions better and excel in the position instead of being Maitland-Niles or Wobies here and there, everywhere, never developing or growing in a position. Yeah, they call it. What do they call it?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, no, but also like the master, a master of many and what is it? Master of none.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, that thing. There you go. Yeah.
Right.
Arteta wants players that are really good at multiple positions, but he doesn't want the best player at that position. Right? Like for me, Partey is a 6 or box to box, whatever you want to call it. You play him as a box to box. You don't play him as a right back. You play him as a box to box because that's how he excels. That's to get the best out of him. Jesus, we know, is not a striker. He's a right wing. Right? That's where he excels, as a right wing. He's won trophies playing as a right wing. Once in a while he comes into the middle, but they don't get the benefit out of it, right?
Yep.
So you play him there, right? Xhaka, an 8 that pushes up the pitch. Keep him away from the goal. You're doing all right. Once in a while, he'll make a good play because he's got that defense in him. But keep him away from the goal. You're better off. Closer to the goal he is, the scarier it gets for you, right? There's different, everybody has their place, right? Zinchenko should not play left back if you want him for defense.
But I've said this about Zinchenko. I blame the tactic more than I blame the player.
Well, that's the thing. So that's on Arteta, right?
But I'll tell you what,
he's going to tell you that's why Arteta should be out. You got a player who's really good in the midfield. You won't play him there, and you're going to punish your back line.
We didn't invert that much on Sunday, and that's where that.
And he didn't last. So to play the position, the right way, and he didn't last.
I think that was.
Tell you to which level they skewed football. In 2003, I've just found this out. Unfortunately, it's in euros, so you might have to do the conversions in your head. But
that's fine.
They spent on Chelsea the first year they had Abramovich money. They spent 173.7 million euros on players, and their sales was 900,000.
Yeah. That's kind of how Arsenal's businesses seem like that sometimes.
That was one season.
Yeah, 2003, 2004.
That is the equivalent.
Yeah.
That was in euros, though.
Right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do the calculation.
Like, for example, but my point overarchingly is they inflated. Because people could say, oh, they didn't have the world transfer record. No, they didn't. But when Real Madrid broke the world transfer record, they buy, at the time, the best player in the world. Like, they bought Figo, Zidane, Cristiano Ronaldo. Chelsea were spending 24.5 million euros on Damien Duff and Blackburn Rovers.
So 145 million pounds, roughly. Yeah.
He's a good. Damien Duff was a perfectly fine footballer.
Yeah.
He was not worth £24 million in 2003.
In today's money, that's 272 million euros.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the game's broken, right? I mean, it's not sustainable.
Just because you have the money doesn't mean you needed to spend it.
Absolutely.
Teams did that, right?
Actually, that's not my favourite one they made. Sorry, they spent 22.7 million euros on Adrian Mutu, who they went then about a few months later went on to sack because he failed a drug test, cocaine. If anyone wondered.
Wow.
And they just went, oh fuck it, we'll just buy Shevchenko, who was also shit for Chelsea, not shit for Milan. Milan, he was amazing. Chelsea though, put on that blue shirt. As I said, the only player in the last 20 years who was like good for them up front, Didier Drogba. Everyone else just passable. Costa was good. But anyway, the important thing is I've managed to successfully sidetrack an Arsenal discussion.
No, you did for a little bit, but we got other things we can talk about. The base gunner says Partey, Nelson, Nketiah, El Neni, Ramsdale, and Jorginho will be exiting. I assume. Yeah. Supposedly he has a year extension, so Arsenal could keep him, but I think he wants to go back to Italy, I believe it is. So here's my thing: he has a place now, just like this. They're gonna do this again. They have a position for him. He has to some degree a leadership role in the sense that people do look up to him. He does have the experience and all of that. And if it's about the money, they should pay the money. Just like when City let what's his name go to is it Barcelona?
Gilderwan.
Gilderwan, yeah. Like they should have just paid the money, and then instead of having to restart over again, you know what you had. I don't think 2 or 3 years salary for a player would hurt you that much if you're City.
I mean, Jorginho's he was in the Man City win, and then he's been in this one.
Yeah, and you know what? And my only thing with it is I always feared that Arteta would just push him too much, and then he burns out and hurts himself, and then he's out. That's my only concern. Like he comes in, he plays like this is how we would use Partey if he was healthy. He plays in the big games. Maybe he plays in games before and after it but as part of rotation, he kind of weans himself in and out of games, so we can get him for the entire season as opposed to for 3-4 month stretch. That's how I would use the players like him. Like either they have injury problems or in Jorginho's. For me, Jorginho's just older, and I don't think he can give you the same performances. And that's why you rotate him in and out the lineup, right? So
I would start him this weekend, though.
Yeah, I think he can play 2 games in a row, but I think when we get to 3, we might miss. Like he'll play 2, but we'll have to pull him out at some point. Either, that's what I think.
So I would play him on Sunday, but I'm also when I say I play him on Sunday, I'm also meaning like play him on Sunday, and then he's gonna sit. He's gonna be pulled off about 65th minute.
Yep,
that'd be my deal. You could probably bring on, I don't know, Smith Rowe. Oh, this might be a game for Smith Rowe too, though.
Yeah, Amrabat, you're right.
They're probably going to sit there and absorb a lot of pressure and try to play 10 behind the ball. Yeah. And we're going to have to figure out a way to break them down. And maybe you see Jorginho for the vision in the midfield. So Odegaard, if you have Odegaard and Rice up there, you can have the same situation you had on the Saturday or Sunday where Odegaard can free flow. But I think the thing we benefited on Sunday was the fact that Liverpool played you. Like it wasn't the 17 of these teams in this league are going to sit behind the ball against Arsenal. But Liverpool and Man City are going to play a mano-a-mano. And that's why I think we've won those 2 games based on the fact that when it's free flow versus free flow, I think we benefit very drastically from that. But when it comes to trying to break down these teams.
Yeah, but you know what? That's where, to some degree, your tactics have to change, but the mindset has to change, right? Mm-hmm. The same way that how do we score in those games? We score in those games by not really thinking too long about what's going on. Yeah. We just attacked. Whereas in these games against teams that are lower on the table, we will wait for them to basically get 11 guys in the box. No. Do you see how City played today?
Yeah.
Anytime that team made a mistake, they punished him every time, right? You don't clear the ball outside of your box. Ball falls to Foden, he puts it away, right?
Mm-hmm.
You leave Foden in the middle of the pitch, unmarked, he heads it home. I mean, come on. You know, that's where Arsenal goes wrong. They won't take advantage of the other team's mistakes because they're too busy really setting up for the next, play. No, take advantage of it. Like if you, like I said, if you intercept the ball midfield, attack, punish them, right? The same way that Jesus Trossard scored late in that game yesterday on Sunday, right? He was the only one up there. There was no support coming anyways. Guess what? He said, "Screw it. Why am I'm not gonna wait for somebody to come.
Mm-hmm.
Boom! I got only one person in front of me anyways." I think
There's
some
a lot
people
of
said he
runs
got
on that side.
I think a lot of people. I think and that's is that Trent's side? No,
That was
right?
Trent's side.
That is Trent's side.
They
But
hooked
it had
Trent.
switched at that point. Trent was out the game, but
Well, they were expecting us to play inverted, and we didn't.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Arteta got him tactically, did something different. Now again, we're gonna make that argument. Plan B, right? Sometimes Plan B can be your Plan A. Come with a different plan in the game.
well, your
If people
plan
expect
B,
you to play inverted.
your plan B is when A doesn't work. It doesn't matter what A doesn't have to be the same thing every time. That's the
Right. Well,
problem.
Plan A for this team is always this.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay to start Plan B in the game.
True.
So,
Yeah.
and I think that side where Trent was at on Sunday was open. I mean, Martinelli had runs, Trossard had runs, Havertz had a couple runs over there. I think majority of our attacks came from that side.
Pepto Bismol will help with that.
What?
With what?
You went Martinelli had the runs.
Oh,
No.
Trent had runs.
I don't
And I was
think
thinking-
I don't think it helps with that.
It
No.
can't hurt, can it?
It calms the stomach down, but I don't think it does anything. You're still gonna run.
Too soon?
You guys talking about Roman. I think something's going on, but I think he basically hurt that team, and then he just got caught, his hand in the jar basically when all that stuff went down, and then had to. That's when I guess English football decided, hey, we're just going to take this away from you, either
Pretty
for
big jar with all those tanks in it.
true.
There was a wall of comments here where it was like, Roman used Chelsea to raise his profile. The elephant in the room with Roman, and I couldn't help myself. I was in there going, when did Roman Reigns buy Chelsea?
This is the nonsense you get over
He
here.
runs rent free in your head, Roman does.
Yes.
You say me and
You know what? If he's going to lose his belt because of you.
that's because the Rock's going to take it.
No, he won last year WrestleMania because I willed it into existence.
True.
Everyone else on our show picked Cody Rhodes to beat him, and I steadfast. I was like, no, you're all going to be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Anybody in the chat got any more questions before we head out of here? Had some good ones, and I think we tried to answer all of them. I think we did.
Dr. Pincushion.
You guys have anything you want to talk about before we get out of here as well?
I think we're good. Looking forward to Sunday. I mean, I've seen some takes today by a couple people. I'm not going to mention names. I heard someone complaining about Odegaard, out there pumping the fans up.
Celebration police, yes.
I mean, it was an Arsenal fan. It was an Arsenal season ticket holder that was talking about Odegaard doesn't need to pump us up. And then complaining about Odegaard telling players to come forward to help out with the press. What do you want a captain to do?
That's his job.
And then people complaining about Arteta. These are Arsenal fans too, alleged Arsenal fans that are season ticket holders. So I mean, I'll say this, and look, I'm not going to police anybody's opinion, but if you can't be excited after a 3-1 win over Liverpool, you need to look in the mirror. You're just never going to be happy. So just admit it.
No, it's Imodium that's required. So there you go, Mr. Tom. Imodium.
That person could use some Imodium.
No, it's funny. I actually have a comment here. Celebration police, and basically, think about what's been happening to the game everybody loves. VAR comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
To correct the sport. What has it done? It's killed your celebrations on goals. Right? You temper your excitement when a goal goes through because you're like, that looked like it could have been offsides. Or was that a handball that happened in the build-up? Was there a foul that happened 3-4 minutes before that on the build on the attack? Right? Oh, that guy fell over. The goalkeeper just fell on the ground. Wait, are they going to call this back? And then you temper your excitement sometimes on the goal. You can't even enjoy it that much because it's sometimes called back.
my question on this is, why is it always Arsenal getting into celebration police battles? Is there merit to it?
No. Everybody says the reason why it happens to Arteta is because guess what? He hasn't won anything. He's not allowed to do any of those things until he wins the big trophies. Guess what? He's in his 4th year of football management. No coach is winning big trophies in their 4 years like
I'm
that.
not saying it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
I just think it's not an unfair question to ask. Is there validity? Like, there's not over celebrating, all right? Let me get that clear. There's not. But to play devil's advocate, is it slightly true?
I mean, the person I heard complaining about it said they should just clap the fans and then go into the dressing room. I mean, do they even celebrate goals?
What?
Is there validity to it? I don't know, man. Like, life's short. I mean, I'm not gonna get myself into a rant about.
What's the point of this whole thing if you can't rant and rave
That's absolutely
and cheer and
right.
jeer? That's what you watch football for, right? Your team winning and your team winning, you're happy. Your team losing, you're not. Right? That's what it's all about. It's just it is
okay.
what it's all about.
Let me ask you the other question: if Liverpool did that, would you be mad at Liverpool?
No.
I've never been mad about somebody celebrating. I've been pissed off that we allowed them to do that because we didn't perform today. As a really, I'm into college football. My team, the Gators. You know how many times an opponent at the end of the game has done the Gator chomp as they run off the pitch, right? Guess what? We put them in a position where they won the game and they got to show and they got to do what they did. And it's like some of that's on us, right? They did their bit. We didn't do our bit.
For the record, I haven't actually seen the celebration, so I don't know whether it
I think he just ran up and down the.
He took a camera from the club.
Oh, you're talking about
yeah. Well, that's what Carragher was complaining about.
Yeah.
Let's just get in there and tunnel, and it's like.
Then they showed him doing even worse on the pitch. I think it was Gary Neville. They showed doing like him celebrating
because they made a point of showing it on TV. I think if Sky hadn't have let me see it, but it turned out it happened, I don't think it would have been as big a deal.
Yeah. It's the thing is, Arsenal fandom draws clicks, draws eyes. A lot of our fans will just take the bait and go with it, and
I
that's why.
I mentioned this earlier in Ryan's chat. I'm not going to hypocrite myself. Like when Nottingham Forest beat Leeds in the Championship in February 2020, early February, they won 2-0, and basically, if I remember rightly, it basically meant they went level on points with Leeds, joint second type thing. And they celebrated it like they had scored a critical hit in the promotion race, celebrating like players in with a crowd and stuff like this. And I just sat there and I was infuriated by them because it was like, well done, you've won a football match, but you're not promoted, sort of thing. Because to me, it felt like you were acting like you had got promoted.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's still 4 fucking months left. It turned out as it was 2020, it's like, there's 7 fucking months left. COVID. I didn't know it was a thing then. I mean, it was travelling over at the point. Anyway, whatever. But in hindsight, Tom won because Nottingham Forest ended up like barely winning any games after that and then finished 7th. So fuck it.
Yeah.
That's facts. He's 100% right there.
Yeah. I hear you. No, I think we are the elixir that stems the social media, trending window. Like you want to trend. If you want to trend, just put Arsenal in your tweet. It doesn't even matter if it has anything to do with football. I have no doubt it will get traction.
I heard there was something that TalkSport don't like Arsenal. I don't listen to TalkSport a lot, so I don't know if that's true.
I think it's the thing to do because it draws attention, right? Yeah. It's the thing. It's the thing to do. Like AFTV, right? Brings a lot of people in. Like this whole YouTube thing, I don't think happens as big if AFTV doesn't blow up the way it did. All right. everybody, I think, I mean, I watched it in the beginning, before COVID and all of that.
Yeah.
When I started looking at, and then you figure out whether you like it or not. If it don't work
I
for
never
you,
watched
then you realize,
AFTV until
then you,
COVID.
yeah, but then you don't, you watch it and you realize, okay, this isn't for me, but is there something else, right?
Yeah.
And then people realize, look, if you don't like AFTV, then come talk with me, because I might be
I knew of it,
your
but
type
I'd never
of
seen it.
But I think about it, Gary. Like a lot of American side, like you're craving for more content, and they were more content, right? Whether it was the yelling or whatever, like you just wanted more content to kind of, because America gives you the game, and then you get they're better off now with the Two Robbies podcast. There's some stuff out there that's quality content that NBC and Peacock puts out. But you just wanted more stuff. And if you don't know and you see AFTV, like that was what attracted. It's funny now because AFTV has become a little bit more level-headed to an extent, but people that are Arsenal fans are now trying to mimic what they did and make fun of AFTV for being too like club, whatever. It's just the Matrix flipped, but Arsenal trends, I think.
Well, you know what? It went from being about the fun part of it to actually being a business. That's why it's changed. But like you said here, 2013 is when it started. A lot of these podcasts have been around for a while, but they didn't blow up the way they have until COVID happened, when people were stuck in their homes and watching things, right?
Yeah.
Because if you just think about what has happened over the last 3 years, right? Last 4 years since COVID, how many stations and people are like blowing up, going from like 1,000, subscribers to like tens and thousands, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, all within this time period. Like you look at any of those anybody with like 30, 40,000, they might have been around, but some of them were at AFTV working and now doing their own thing now, and they're blowing up. The numbers are blowing up. All of this happened at that point when you're stuck at home. And then people would watch AFTV, knew of it, but didn't it created its own economy now, right? People are now living off YouTube now, whereas before it was just something they did for fun.
Yeah, and that's factual, because I think it was something that maybe it was Liam said and Ryan's. I could be wrong. It could have been Melvin that said it, but said that when Arsenal aren't legitimate, they'll say nice things about you, but when you are a threat, you're not going to get praise from the people of Carragher and Neville. Because at the end of the day, Carragher knows Arsenal are a threat to Liverpool, and he's looking at Klopp. Klopp's now going to be leaving. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty for Liverpool. There's going to be players that are potentially going to leave because, they were there for Jurgen Klopp. And if the next manager comes in and he doesn't rate them, even if they're a quality player, they may not fit. They may not vibe. So
who tends to get moved on first when a new manager comes in? Older players.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to cash in on Salah. They have to.
This is the thing. They get he goes for free in the summer, doesn't he?
I don't think so. I think they can sell him. I thought they could sell him.
His contract ended in the summer.
Oh,
let's see if we can get him to come to Arsenal.
Let's confirm that. I thought he is. I mean, he may have a. He may have a.
Well be wrong.
He may have an extension, but I thought they could sell him, and that's where they can kind of rebuild, because they would rebuild with the monies from selling him, is my understanding.
They could only sell him to one place, though. Saudi would buy him.
True.
Who else has got the money to buy what you'd assume Liverpool could get for Salah?
True.
Other than Man City.
Yeah, my screen is frozen.
And even then, with all the charges and stuff, they're not going to go out and buy Mohamed Salah.
No.
Because then that'll turn... The second he signs on that dotted line, it becomes 116 charges.
True.
Pretty sure of it.
True.
Yep. Chris is right. That's exactly the point I was making about AFTV. They went the X Factor route, get the nut jobs on for views, and then clean your act up.
I have a theory on TalkSport. I didn't know whether they liked Arsenal before FTV or not, and I'm not going to say people are wrong with that. If that's true, that's true. But my feeling on that is when AFTV came about, they saw it as, because basically people were watching YouTube which meant they weren't listening to TalkSport. At the times, they would have usually been listening to TalkSport for their football fix or their sport fix or whatever. So then they're back. What do you do? Oh, you try and dismiss it as, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. They might be, oh yeah, once you get past the fact that it's regular people, they have never kicked a ball in their life. But look, we've got Jason Cundy in the studio who once wanked himself on the football pitch for Chelsea or whatever he did. I'm not sure he didn't. But
he's got one more year. Yeah, he's got one more year.
In the summer.
June 30, 2025 is when his contract is supposed to be up. So, but like I said, I think, I know a lot of these teams started to blow up, but I think that whole COVID thing made it even more the case because a lot more people were home, had no way, couldn't go out to watch football, wanted to chat about football. And I think it bell curve went up crazy around that time.
Doesn't TalkSport charge for you to call to give your opinion too?
I've no idea because I've never done it.
Well, their little YouTube stream says like $1.99 per minute or something. It's almost like a 900 number back in the day.
Yeah. See, and it's honestly TalkSport's owned by Sky, so Sky is gonna hate YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Any big TV corporation is gonna hate YouTube because that's free content, right? YouTube is laughing because they're like, you guys are paying all this money for it. I'm getting it for free over here, right? And so they started to infiltrate it as well, right? And they pushed their products out there.
You notice how they immediately went for, we're going to dismiss it. Because I had never watched Arsenal Fan TV, but I remembered watching the discourse when Robbie went on there to defend AFTV. And obviously, I'd only heard about what goes on there. And it was very easy for TalkSport to be all like, we use it all just shouting like your nutcases, essentially, is what they were saying. And to be fair, it's true to a degree. Yeah. But at the same time, what about TalkSport is not like what AFTV was back then?
Facts.
They've become that.
Absolutely.
They've become, because you had to. That became the industry leader in football discourse.
Well, everybody wanted to.
Instead of being like, we're going to get our experts to give expert analysis, what they then decided was, no, actually, we're just going to get our ex-footballers to wind each other up on air.
Yep.
True. Yeah, like I said, the premise, the old premise of AFTV and what they do now, totally different, right? But I think for me, it's all about it's no different than footballers nowadays, right? Once you sign a big contract, the last thing you want to do is not get paid on that contract, right? Many people believe Nketiah will not leave Arsenal because you have to take a pay cut, right? Cedric will not leave Arsenal because you take a pay cut. Bellerin won't leave Arsenal because he won't take a pay cut because they don't want to take a pay cut to improve their career because they want the guaranteed money, right? They don't want like back in the days, you would like, oh, maybe I'll take a job that doesn't earn as much right now, but the potential is there for me to grow, do something I like, probably, which in the case of a lot of these athletes is actually play football, right? And then I'll grow my value in the world of football, and I'll be worth more to anybody who wants me. They don't see that anymore because that's hard work.
I'll give you an example of what I think the crapness of TalkSport was. The moment I realised, like, this is really dodgy. And I get what I'm going to say is about to sound really stupid because I haven't got a Yorkshire accent. Like, I'm from London, but I support Leeds United. But there was a YouTube video, and this is the fact that I made a video clip out of it tells me how legitimate it probably was. Leeds lost the game. And basically, they had supposedly a Leeds fan with a massive Scouse accent or Liverpool accent going, I think Liverpool, I think Bielsa should be sacked and all this. And it was like, you don't support Leeds. You are a plant. You are an absolute plant by TalkSport. There is no way you could believe that. What you are saying. This is bollocks.
Yeah.
And I think that ain't the only time. I think they started manufacturing conversation.
Yeah.
Bringing on plants to like say silly things to incite people.
Well, let's be fair. Like, and this I think it's been said in the comment section.
AFTV did the same thing.
Me, Gary, we know a lot more about Arsenal than half the people that are on TalkSport right now. Tom, you know more about Leeds than they do. So, I mean, you're just a subject matter expert. I mean, they're kind of like the broad brush, right? The legacy media is. You're not going to get the in-depth. I mean, Simon Jordan, I mean, there's moments I like him, and there's times he annoys me because he's this pious, basically like rich guy up there, right? Who dismisses people with lesser opinions and based on the amount of money they make. That's how I feel about him because that's how he comes across.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sorry, who's that? Sorry,
Simon Jordan, the old
I
Crystal
find him
Palace.
fascinating.
I mean, I don't dislike him, but there's moments where he just burns me up in certain ways. Oh, hold on.
I think the thing with him, I could be wrong, is I think because he spends most of his time around ex-footballers, and let's be fair, with respect to a lot of these footballers, they did not hit every branch of the education tree when they on the way down. Let's just say, not the smartest bunch of people, but they're wealthy. I think to some degree he gets used to being the smartest voice in the room, and it happens to be televised. And he's a smart guy, but I think he overestimates his smartness because of who he's up against in debates a lot. It'd be like me debating you on Leeds. It'd be borderline unfair.
Yep.
Because you'd be, or like, I don't say like I'm a Leeds expert, but I would have known or seen more than you on Leeds.
I mean,
Whereas,
yeah. Like
exactly.
if I talk about college football and you talk about college football, you're gonna go. That's kind of where it is, and I that's where I don't want. I try not to. I tell you what I see, not what I've seen. For decades, right? You've seen things for decades, so anything, like I can tell you stuff about college football. I don't have a good memory in the first place, but I've seen decades of college football, decades of NFL, right? I've only seen just over a decade of Premier League football. That I may have watched it off and on, but I've religiously been watching it, since
I've not
2000.
seen one snap of college football ever.
Yeah.
I've seen clips of it. I've seen
Yeah.
there's documentaries where they'll show it, and I'll be like, oh right, but I've never actually watched a college football match live.
Yeah, I hear that.
I mean, it's like the Broncos. I'm pretty much an expert of the Broncos when it comes to what's going on there. It's like, but I'm piggybacking what you said there, Gary. Like we've watched it you and I probably watched it for. I mean, I can go back to 92, 93. I'm not 6, 7 years old. I just remember stuff from back then. I've been watching Premier League football for about 8, 9 years now, and and I'm kind of like you. I mean, I saw it back in the day, but it just wasn't pushed on me, right? So like it's something I had to self-acquire. So I mean, I'm still learning, but I played football for my whole life, pretty much, so I know the tactics of the game. But some of the history stuff, like I'm fascinated over here. Like Tom can pull some of these transfers out from 2003. Man, 2003, I was 17 years old chasing girls. Yeah, I wasn't worried about football and stuff like that. So, it is fascinating, just different perspectives, and that's the thing. Like that's why I think these YouTube channels exist. I think they're very successful, right? Like it gives people a voice, and a voice that's like honestly. I mean, I can't speak for all channels, but if we could have someone come in here and have a different opinion, you and Gary, we don't see eye to eye on everything, but we could do it in a respectful manner where it's like, hey, I understand where he's coming from. He understands where I'm coming from. Tom the same way. And I think that's why I think it's successful, because it is kind of not a safe space, but it's a place where, and just put your opinion out there and we'll talk about it. Sure. And I think that's what makes it attractive. You don't have to worry about some talk sport pundit. That's a horrible take there, Gary from Yorkshire. How dare you have that opinion? So, I mean, just come on. It's just a piss take, but
yeah.
I know you get people that will say all kinds of things, but there are some things that I hear on TalkSport and think no one could possibly think that. And these are things that I used to Bielsa being sacked thing as like an example. But it could be anything where I sit and think like no one would think that. you'd only say it to get clicks as such.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where all of this. I guess someone would say visceral in sports fandom. It's like that's why I try to call people out. I'm like, there's no way you can go into a game thinking you already lost. No way.
Yeah.
No way. Not if you're a fan. Are you a fan? Yes. All right. So you can't spend the 2 days building up to the game thinking it's a loss, because then you're not a fan anymore. Now you're just somebody who's maybe looking at it like realistically, and I'm not that kind of fan. Like, I know my team, every team, and I say this all the time. You can win every game. All right. Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes it's actually a change in scheme. Whatever it is, player it goes lights out one day. Everything they touch turns to gold. You never know.
Yeah.
That's the thing about sports. You never know, right? Any team can beat any team on a given day, right? Any given Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's your day, you're gonna win, right? You never know when it's gonna come. That's the thing. That's why DWTT stands for Don't Waste a Trip, because you don't know. This might be your day. You might get that win, right? A lot of times you create your own.
Say something else then.
You create your own success, but then you also, you never know when that day is going to come.
Yeah.
You never know when you're going to break a world record, right? You might break the world record in warm-ups, in the prelims, right? You never know, but if you don't go 100%, you'll never get there for sure. So that's kind of how I see it. So I kind of feel like this is my team and cheer for them. So when they go into the game, I expected them to win. How can they win? I'll tell you how I think they're going to win, right? Because they have a chance to win every game. I mean, you see it in every game. A team is like today, Brentford goes up a goal, right? All they have to do is continue to do what they were doing for that whole point in time, right? Nope. Either they couldn't do it anymore, but they made some silly mistakes and they paid for it every time, right? Foden, killed him.
TalkSport is travesty.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, I think we are.
The fact that Rory's on TalkSport is a travesty.
Well, think about it.
He's the worst one.
Easily.
Sorry. Yeah, Goldbridge is actually quite funny.
Yeah.
Intentionally or not, he has a moment where he said something you will laugh.
Yeah.
Rory Jennings.
Rory Jennings, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm sure he's a nice man. I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
But he is the king of clickbait. Chelsea will lose a game. He'll be like, Chelsea could get relegated. Chelsea could get relegated. And then they'll win a game and he'll be like, I think we're going to qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah.
Rory Jennings is the friend.
That's when it becomes entertainment, and I don't want it to. This is not supposed to be entertainment. This is just supposed to be some guys chatting about the sport they love, they like, that kind of thing. So it's
he's the king. He's the king. There's no one on earth. Sorry, Gary. There's no one on earth I've ever seen who is so better at trying to sound so earnest when saying something so deliberately obtuse. Where he's basically like, oh.
But do you think that if Chelsea was to do this in 2006, do you think that blah, 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 blah? So you just said it perfectly, man. Like, I was going to say something dumb, but Tom, you just knocked it out of the park. I have nothing else to follow on that.
Every once in a while, he comes with a gem, and every once in a while. But we're gonna head out of here soon, because I've actually gone longer than I wanted. Not wanted. Well, I enjoy this. We usually actually have this discussion behind the scenes, but we just did it here in front of you. So, call this the offline kind of chat that we usually have. But yeah, no, I like I said, I think a lot of it is it's. I keep saying it. False economy is created, right?
Yeah.
Right, and this new media, I don't know what you call it, but this new media distribution mechanism is, created, like, essentially some people say monsters, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like the smaller channels just use YouTube for what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, just hanging out, man.
We're just hanging out talking about some football or anything else we want
Yeah,
to
but
talk
I'd
about.
sell you all out immediately for 75 views.
75 views.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all. You're not getting much for that.
Yeah.
You sure you want to do that?
I
Nah,
think you got that
sure.
last night.
I know you get that pretty much every time you put a video out.
Yeah, and every time I secretly sell you but all out, and you don't realize it.
What are you getting?
What
What are you getting for it in this deal?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Just the amusement.
All right, we're gonna head out of here. I'm gonna let everybody have their say before we get out of here.
Sorry, Gary.
Oh,
You made something,
oh,
and
I
I
did.
think it should be
Oh,
exposed
for
to the
those.
world.
Oh, yes. You know what, you guys that are in the chat, don't leave because I did some. I did some work. I did some work over the weekend, and I want you guys to check it out. And with that in mind, I will do a couple of changes here, but you know why as we go here. So here we go, people. Let me know what you think about this. That is great. You get it in video, you get it live. Oh, Mr. Tom, do you have some crisps for the
I do.
show?
I do. I do have crisps. I've got nah. Don't be too disappointed, right? It is Walker's BBQ pork ribs limited edition flavour. However, the reason I actually selected this and what I suspect I might not like it is it's vegan. It's a vegan crisp.
Sorry.
I
Give me that,
expect this
Mr. Tom.
to taste
Mr. Tom,
like cardboard.
give me that face again.
It's vegan.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes Why would you get vegan beef chips? What's that? What?
Hence
What is
why
that?
I was like, yeah.
Can
Anyway,
I have some vegetable ribs, please? No. Barbecued vegetable.
Chock full of
vegetarian rib.
microplastics.
you know what? It smells okay, but I thought that the Indian masala smelled okay.
Mhm.
So it means nothing. I've learned.
You also didn't like bugles, so there's that.
Yeah.
As Gary's got evidence of, clearly, I've not liked a lot of them lately.
Yeah. I don't know, Stefan. Which conversation do you want to chat about next time? Because we'll do, but I forget now. Just tell me again? Yeah. I'm glad you liked it, Stephen from Canada. Or Ryan from Canada. Yo, did you hear this one? Travis Kelce said he loves Taylor Swift's new album. Imagine having to sit through her album just to smash.
You gotta say it.
That's yeah, but smash doesn't mean it's not a dirty word.
But you know what it means.
In that case.
Yeah. Taylor's bigger than the Stones, apparently. Oh, come on. That's like saying Taylor's bigger than Michael Jackson. Some people think so, and I'm like, dude, nah. The Beatles? Nah. Elvis?
I don't know, man.
Relative to their time, I think not that big. Nothing wrong with the most meat crisps don't have meat in them. You know what, Ian? That's not where we're going for. You know what we mean. So, Mr. Tom, give us a lowdown. Oh, to talk sports and other channels. Yeah, we could do that.
You know
do
what?
that. You know what? We'll probably do this over the weekend. I'll make a note of it. Mr. Tom will remember it. Maybe on the road trip we will talk about.
Sam's probably got a lot of good insight.
So, Mr. Tom, remember that for the weekend.
I'm just going to spend all week trying to find out things that Rory Jennings actually says, so I can do better impersonation.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Tom, tell us what you feel about these crisps.
Bang average. I mean, they do taste very barbecue porky. I I'm still a bit put off by the veganism of it.
Yeah, I don't get that. No, don't put it. No. I don't need to know that my crisps are vegan.
No animals were harmed in the making of these, though, Gary.
No.
But I'd pay extra if they did.
All right, so give us the scores, and then
Not really.
Then it's gonna be time for you to say bye.
Oh, boy.
Well, he's eating like 4 or 5, so
he definitely has a score coming.
They're not the worst. I'm gonna go 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. That's actually pretty good compared to where some of the scores have gone recently.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Tom, say your goodbyes.
That's what I thought. Why not? Ian, I was joking. I'd never actually do that. But no, seriously, thank you everyone for supporting the show. And
sorry.
Yeah, it's funny. We should all listen to Talk Sports so we can actually have a say. But if you don't listen to it, then you probably won't be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
No, but I think we've all listened to it enough to get the gist of what other people are saying when they bring up their experience of Talk Sport. If you all sample a bit of it,
true.
The disingenuousness of it, the promote expert opinion, but still trying to behave like the lads that stand around that corner at the Emirates.
True. And like Laura Woods leaving kind of shows you how what kind of business model they want. She's not going to fit in there. It's better if she goes and just talks football elsewhere, right? So
I actually found her to be one of the worst parts of it.
Because she wasn't like them. She was actually trying to be legit, trying to be a sports.
Not like Laura Woods.
Yeah.
Tell me how
Hang on. I can tell you exactly why I don't like Laura Woods. It's not really even her fault, but it's partly because she's everywhere on TV now. It's like you can't see anything on ITV.
So when she was with Talk Sports,
she even presents the NFL show on ITV, for example.
You've seen Laura Woods, right? Why would you not put her on TV?
Oh, I can totally understand why you'd put her on TV.
So
my point is,
no, but is she bad at what she does? Is the question, because that's kind of where I'm going. Like, is she actually bad at what she does, or you just don't like seeing her all the time, and that's it?
Doing coke live on TV?
No. If you'd let me explain, I can tell you what it is that I find irritating about her. Is she will respond to a tweet. For example, I don't follow on Twitter. To be clear, but she will. There'll be someone on Twitter would have mentioned something pervy about her, and she will respond to it, and it won't even be really that funny. But the clickbait article I see about it will go, Laura Woods destroys commenter or something like this, and like it'll just be her going, yeah, mate, yeah, good luck with that, or something like. After he's gone like, oh, I'd love to smash Laura Woods, and she'll go like, yeah, you'd have more luck smashing your granny, or something like that. But then the clickbait article will literally be like, Laura Woods said the funniest thing ever.
That's not her fault. But anyway,
it's not her fault.
Say goodbye to the people so we can get out of here.
But there's a lot of things that are not the fault of the person on social media.
Yeah, but you don't like her for reasons that have nothing to do with her.
Creates that feeling.
Yeah.
Of association. She's guilty by association.
Yeah. So you're saying that I shouldn't be hard on Taylor Swift just because she has poor taste in men?
I would argue that most people should be, and that ain't gonna work. Forget what I was about to say. Because you said hard on Taylor Swift, and I was gonna say maybe most people should be hard in Taylor. Anyway, that ain't gonna work.
Say goodbye to the people.
That's not PG. Goodbye to the people.
Is that all you got?
You told me to say goodbye to the people.
All right, Spencer. Tell the people good night.
Well, good night, people. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. I know it's this is the third night I've gone in a row because we had the trip on Saturday, a little wrestling yesterday, and of course we did our Arsenal thing today, which is nice. It was a good time. It was fun. It was a good conversation. We did talk football. Glad we got the 3 points this weekend. That was the big critical thing. Big push this weekend. Got West Ham. I would prefer to see the same lineup again. Then we got Burnley, and I think the Champions League after that. Big month. I know a lot of people probably don't think Arsenal are going to find a way to win this league, and it's like Gary said earlier, man. If you're a fan, spot the ball. Let's go compete, man. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather go down swinging than just show up and already feel like we're not going to win it, man. Like, what's the point of doing this if we don't think we're going to have a shot? So keep the faith. If you want Arteta out, you want him out. If you want him in, you want him in. I don't care. So.
Yep. I hear you. All right, buddy.
Out, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Everybody who joined us. Yeah. We talked about everything today, right? We talked about football. We got into. We ended up with Taylor Swift and Talk Sport, Talks Radio, Talk TV, or YouTube, or streaming, or whatever you want to call it. False economies. At least that's what I've been talking about every time. But enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for the questions. I hope we answered everybody's questions, and maybe we'll talk again on the weekend about Talk Sport and everybody else, because why not? I mean, that's what everybody's, that's what we're doing here. And so it'd be cool to chat about that. So we will talk again on another show. Arsenal hopefully gets the win. I think Leeds must play before we get, over the weekend. If not,
play tomorrow.
Oh, they play tomorrow, so there you go.
In the FA Cup.
Oh, FA Cup. That's right. They're in
you
FA
remember
Cup.
the FA Cup, don't you?
No,
Gary?
I don't. No, I forgot about it. I didn't even know it was a thing.
that was low, Tom.
I know that was kind of mean.
How often do I get the opportunity to have something over Arsenal?
You do. But we'll be back, people. Have a good rest of your week. If we don't catch you before that. But we'll be back again. Maybe catch us on Thursday. Mr. Tom will have a show midweek as well.
Yeah,
check him out. Spencer, if he gets his channel back on, will be on. If not, you'll see him back on the weekend or Monday. Same time, same back channel, same time. All right, people. Thank you very much for joining. If you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe, and share the message. And we'll see you on the next one. Everybody. And we're out.
Life is a journey. Don't waste your trip. Enjoy the ride. There you go.